If you walk as though God Himself breathes through your lungs, everything changes. Your voice deepens with authority, your spine straightens with knowing, and you no longer ask for permission to burn with purpose. You stop begging for time, for confirmation, for validation, and the moment you stop waiting, heaven stops waiting too. This is not a suggestion, this is not motivation, this is a divine summons, echoing through your soul, a call that will not be silenced. Forgiveness, the call that will not be silenced. If these words find you now, it is because something ancient and mighty within you is stirring. It knows. You have lingered long enough in hesitation. You have danced too long in delay. That tightness in your chest, that hunger in your bones. It is not confusion. It is a holy order rising from within, calling you to stop living as if you were overlooked. You were not created to shrink. You were not sent here to drift through days. You are not an accident. You are a message, a command wrapped in flesh. You were sent, and the one who sent you makes no apology for power. The man who listens with sacred reverence, who burns these words into his marrow until they become his new breath, he will not merely transform, he will become evidence. He will be living proof that purpose is not a myth, that destiny is not fiction. He will walk with clarity and end what heaven began through him. And when that man walks, the earth will know it. Now listen, hear not just with ears, but with soul. For the moment you believe this truth, not merely understand it, but believe it, your gait will shift. You will no longer walk as a man. You will walk as one who was sent. You will no longer bow to fear, no longer hesitate in the presence of doubt. That time has ended. Now is the hour of remembrance. Now is the hour of obedience. Now the voice of purpose calls with finality. And if you dare to not only hear it, but obey it, your former self will crumble in awe. Because what is coming forth is not improvement, but rebirth. You were not made for smallness. You were not assigned this existence to merely survive. You were not formed by divine intelligence only to beg for clarity. You were sent with intention, with authority. He cannot be hushed by fear. That man walks ungovernable. That man shakes the systems built on silence. So no, this truth is not taught in schools. It is not printed on your feed. Because if every man walked as though heaven breathed through him, kingdoms built on fear would crumble. When a man acts as though God is alive in him, he stops asking, he stops apologizing, he starts moving with a gravity that cannot be mimicked. The moment you carry yourself like one who is sent, the old limitations no longer recognize you. Understand this now. Infinite intelligence is not distant. It does not dwell in the clouds. It is not waiting behind a veil of rituals. It is here, within, closer than breath, but it waits. It waits for alignment. It waits for movement. It waits for obedience. It will not act for you. It will not move until you move. But when you move in holy agreement with the assignment you were given, when your habits, your decisions, your posture reflect reverence for that mission, everything shifts. Everything opens. But hear me, this will only awaken if you listen not casually but with soul-deep attention. You must mute the voice of distraction, of doubt, of comparison. This message is hidden, not because it is secret, but because it is sacred. And only the one who listens with the full weight of their being will receive what they came to hear. Do not drift, do not flinch. Study these words as if they are your map out of the wilderness, because they are. Return to this message as often as necessary until it becomes you. Until God is within me is no longer something you repeat, but something you are. Until your presence feels like a decree. Until your eyes shine not with doubt, but with destiny. You were not made to survive. You were not designed to wait. You are here to command, to build, to carry the fire. From this moment on, you must act as one who was sent, not because of ambition, but because of truth. You were not created to doubt your right to move. You were not formed in the image of power just to question if you're allowed to speak. Doubt is not your inheritance. Fear is not your nature. Delay is not your identity. These were handed to you by a culture afraid of your light, but the same force that carved mountains and summoned stars crafted you with intention. It placed fire within your mind. That is who you are. Most walk lightly, apologetically, like strangers in their own existence, tiptoeing through days, trying not to disturb the opinions of those who never saw them clearly. But the man who walks as though he was sent, that man does not apologize for existing. He does not wait for consensus. He does not beg for permission. He simply walks. Because the world did not give him his mission, and therefore cannot revoke it. You must accept this. You were not placed here by accident. The infinite does not create waste. It does not birth emptiness. It does not assign purpose to the undeserving. You appear. You do not belong to the wicked, the corrupt, the defaced, the undeserving. The man who walks in color does not birth emptiness. It 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 does not, and if you were sent, then within you lives something greater than ego, deeper than knowledge, an eternal command waiting to be obeyed. The ache you feel is not absence, it is instruction. Too many men collapse not because of resistance, but because of refusal. They silence the voice that calls them higher. They choose comfort over command, and so they wither, not cursed, but misaligned. Misalignment is failure, not fate. There is a law that governs all rise. You must walk not with arrogance, but with authority. You must live not as a question, but as a statement. You must speak not as one begging to belong, but as one appointed to build. This is not delusion. This is destiny. Do not speak to me of flaws. Every man chosen was flawed. Do not speak to me of time. The eternal is not late. Do not wait for readiness. Obedience is never about comfort. A fortune is never inherited. Obedience is never about comfort. Obedience is never about readiness. 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 Obedience is never. To be ready for what demands discipline, not comfort. It is about alignment. And once you align, provision appears, power flows, doors open, not because the world changed, but because you did. Lincoln did not rise because the world welcomed him. He rose because he obeyed. He did not ask for applause. He acted from principle. He stood for what the fire within demanded. He succeeded not by strategy, but by alignment. And you will too, when you walk in that same obedience. God within is not a metaphor. It is not poetry, it is fact. Infinite intelligence seeks your hands, your habits, your movement. You were not placed here to wait. You were placed here to do, not later, now. So speak this aloud. I was not made to wander. I was sent to walk in power. Write your aim, place it where your eyes must meet it. Make it law. Make your day reflect it. Do not explain your fire. Do not dilute your conviction. Just move. And before sleep, repeat again. I was not made to wander. I was sent to walk in power. Let the words replace hesitation. Let them erase guilt. Let them override fear. Let them remind you who you are. You are not here to bow. You are not here to stall. You are here to rise. You are the builder. You are the decision. You are the command. Will you obey, or will you debate? The call has already been issued. The power has already been given. The law has already been spoken. Now move as one who was sent. Because heaven walks with you, but only if you walk first. This is not a phrase. This is not inspiration. This is law. This is rhythm. This is identity. This is your divine architecture taking form in language, rising now to become breath, action, decision, and decree. From this moment forward, you no longer hesitate. You no longer delay. You no longer consult with fear before you move. You no longer wait for validation. You no longer negotiate with the calling placed within you by the infinite intelligence that crafted your soul and sent you here with purpose already encoded in your spirit. Now you rise. Now you obey. Now you act with unshakable clarity. And when you do, you will feel it, the invisible force that surrounds the faithful, heaven moving in rhythm with your motion. But understand this, divine power cannot dwell in a divided mind. Authority cannot be carried by one who consults every fear before every move. A man who has been sent cannot afford the luxury of entertaining contradiction. Deduction, he must guard his inner world as a king guards his crown, because his thought is the throne from which his world is ruled. And if the throne is corrupted, so will be every law that proceeds from it. They left the gates of the soul wide open to the winds of confusion, and then wondered why their power dissolved like mist. But the man who has been sent, he treats thought like sacred ground. He disciplines it. He commands it. He organizes it around the voice of his calling. And because of this, he becomes immovable. There is a law. Controlled attention is the sacred bridge between the infinite and the manifested. If your mind is open to every distraction, every echo of doubt, every illusion of threat, you will not hear God clearly. Clarity cannot live in clutter. Revelation cannot land in noise. Spirit cannot direct a man whose gaze is fractured. You must ask yourself not once, but constantly, moment by moment, does this thought serve the call within me? If the answer is yes, then think it, speak it, act from it. If the answer is no, it must be rejected without argument, without excuse, without pause. You are not here to reason with limitation. You are here to build with unwavering obedience. This is the way of the one who has been sent. Consider the man Rockefeller. While the world collapsed in financial panic, he stood firm. Not because he had more wealth, but because he had more focus. While others absorbed chaos, he listened only to purpose. He's thick. While others absorbed chaos, he listened only to purpose. His attention was trained, and because his mind did not sway, his outcomes did not shake. What he created was not luck, it was the natural result of a mind fixed on assignment. This is the standard. You must become that man whose thoughts are trained, whose emotions are filtered, whose inner world is quiet enough to hear heaven. Your mind is not a toy. It is the channel through which God acts. If it is distracted, the signal will be distorted. If it is clean, miracles find no resistance. Begin this practice. Each morning, write one question. Does this thought honor my calling? Let that question burn through your distractions. Let it become your compass. When doubt arises, interrupt it. I think in alignment. I speak with purpose. I obey the voice that sent me. And at night, reflect. Did your thoughts serve your calling or resist it? This is your inner audit, the sacred accounting of your dominion. Remember this, the world will always shout, but no voice can overtake the voice of a man who knows why he was sent. If you allow the noise of the world to become louder than the whisper of God within you, your life will follow foreign orders. No more wandering, no more casual thought, no more internal permission slips for fear. You are a vessel of intelligence divine, not a landfill for doubt. Say this now. I think in alignment. I speak with purpose. I obey the voice that sent me. Say it again. I think in alignment. I speak with purpose. I obey the voice that sent me. Let this become your firewall, the boundary that protects your mind from the old self and its old language. Let this become your spiritual reflex, because when your thoughts serve your calling, your life begins to prosper by design, not accident. When your attention is fixed, your voice gains weight. When your mind is disciplined, heaven entrusts you with more. You are not placed here to echo the noise of the world. You are placed here to channel power, pure, clear, unapologetic. The man who has been sent cannot speak with hesitation. He cannot dip his tongue in the language of fear. His words must carry the vibration of destiny. Every time you speak, you instruct your subconscious. And your subconscious, which is the architect of all behavior, will obey whatever is spoken, repeatedly and with conviction, whether it's truth or lie. This is the law of autosuggestion, and it governs all result. Your subconscious does not argue. It does not filter truth. It only listens. Have I heard this enough? Was it spoken with belief? If yes, it begins to shape your habits, your choices, your posture, your direction, until life begins to resemble the voice it was given. So understand this clearly. Speak doubt. You empower weakness. Speak command. You release power. Most men fail not from lack of ability, but from broken speech. They speak confusion. They declare nothing. They rehearse smallness. I hope becomes their anthem. I'll try becomes their excuse. Maybe becomes their retreat. And their subconscious follows. But the man who speaks like he's been sent speaks with decision. He speaks like a commander, not a question mark. He does not ask for approval, he makes decrees. Here is your identity script. Speak it aloud each morning before the world gets a chance to contradict it. I am the man who was sent to build. I speak with power. I act with finality. Speak it not as poetry, but as law. Speak it until your subconscious no longer flinches at power. Speak it until your inner world reshapes itself in the image of that authority. And the outer world will follow, not by magic, by design. Because the mind moves always in the direction of its dominant instruction. Think of Charles M. Schwab. He rose from mill worker to president of U.S. Steel, not because of privilege, but because his words carried weight. He didn't suggest. He didn't apologize. He gave orders with belief, and men followed him, not because of status, but because of certainty. He rose by speech. So must you. If your words are soft, your identity will remain vague. If your language is uncertain, your future will be uncertain. The man who cuts corners in silence, the man who performs only when seen, the man who adjusts his obedience based on audience, that man will remain small, not because others rejected him, but because he disrespected the very force that placed him here. But if your speech matches the man you are becoming, your subconscious will obey, and obedience builds identity. So begin your practice. Write your new identity script. Begin with, I am the man who, and speak it aloud, every morning and every night. Not in a whisper, but as if your future depends on it, because it does. And every time you catch yourself speaking fear, stop, interrupt it, replace it. Say aloud, that is not who I am. I speak belief. I speak law. I speak what I am becoming. Track your words. Keep a journal of what you said, when you said it, how you said it. Did you speak like a man who was sent or a man who was unsure? This awareness is your altar. The repetition is your transformation. Speak this now. I speak law. I speak belief. I speak what I am becoming. Say it again with fire. Let these words burn away the soft speech of your former self. From now on, your language will not carry doubt. It will carry destiny. Every word is a command. Every sentence is a sword. Every declaration is a brick in the architecture of the man God sent you to become. This is not motivation. This is alignment. And when your voice matches your assignment, even the world must bow. You do not rise with noise. You rise with precision. You do not wait to believe. You speak until belief becomes automatic. You were sent to speak power. Now do so. And know this, you are being watched, not by crowds, not by critics, but by the source that sent you. The one who gave you breath did not withdraw his gaze. The one who placed power in you is watching what you do with it, not to punish, but to promote. But promotion only comes when reverence is proven. But promotion only comes when reverence is proven. Discipline is not effort. Discipline is reverence. You do not work hard for success. You work hard because you were sent. And anything less than your full obedience is theft from your purpose, your future, and the one who breathed it into you. Every word is worship. Every act is a declaration. You are always building, always declaring. Either you are aligned with your assignment, or you have forgotten who you are. You are not casual, not anymore. You are not here to be seen. You are here to act as one who is already seen, because you are. And when you live with that awareness, you become undeniable, trusted, resourced, elevated, not by accident, but by law. Consider Ford. When every engineer said the V8 engine was impossible, he did not waver. Why? Because he treated his decision as divine. He obeyed the voice within, not the evidence around. And when you obey the divine within, the impossible begins to yield. Reality bends. What they called a miracle was simply obedience under pressure. That is now your posture. Every task, every word, every moment must be done as if heaven watches, because it does. Speak this now. My actions reflect heaven. I build with fire. I move with honor. Before every decision, ask, if God were watching, would I do this differently? And if so, correct it immediately, not with guilt, but with action. Every day, choose one moment where you give more than what was asked. Let that be your private offering, because the man who gives in silence, the man who honors even the invisible moments, is the man God will trust with visible authority. You were not sent here to try. You were sent here to build. Now move accordingly. Before sleep, kneel, not to ask, but to declare, not as one uncertain, but as one aligned with sacred purpose. Speak as a man who has honored his instruction, as one who will rise again tomorrow, not in hesitation, but in full obedience to the divine assignment, etched into the marrow of his being. You are no longer a man who waits for public recognition. You are a man of the altar, a sacred space not built in cathedrals, but carved in the silence of your room, in the discipline of your hands, in the flame of your breath. Your worship is private, your reverence is constant, and your excellence in the unseen will birth a reputation in the seen that cannot be touched, tarnished, or shaken. Now speak these words aloud, not as a suggestion, but as a law. My actions reflect heaven. I build with fire. I move with honor. Again, my actions reflect heaven. I build with fire. I move with honor. Let these words be the governors of your day, the invisible code that instructs how you clean, how you write, how you speak, how you respond, how you breathe. Because your assignment is not ordinary, your movement is not random, your presence is not accidental. It is sacred. Your voice is sacred. Your labor is sacred. And if you live like that, if you walk with that kind of reverence daily, you will rise in a way that cannot be explained. You will succeed in a way that cannot be copied. You will move like a man not merely living but commanded. Because you are. You were sent, and the world must adjust to the man who walks as one sent. From this day forward, let this truth burn within. Everything you do is watched by the one who sent you. Heaven is not far, it is watching. So live with such fire that even heaven must bear witness. The world does not follow titles, it does not bow to ambition, it does not yield to those who wait for applause. The world moves for the man who believes, not in theory, not in fantasy, but in the marrow of his being, that he was sent, not by man or chance, but by heaven itself. Such a man changes atmosphere. He does not beg for space. Space is made for him. You have seen this. You have felt it. One man enters a room, and the room shrinks him. Another enters, and the room reshapes itself, not because of fame or fortune, but because of certainty, because of identity, because the man knows who he is, and he moves like it. This is not mystery. This is law. A man's inner belief determines how the world responds to him. Your energy, your tone, your walk, they do not come from circumstance. They emerge from conviction. When your identity is built on divine instruction, you become immovable. You are not wandering, you are building. You are not questioning, you are obeying. You are not waiting, you are executing. And when your rhythm reflects that order, the world begins to align itself with your presence. Faith creates atmosphere, because the man who believes he was sent does not apologize. His energy is firm. His speech is aligned. His presence does not shrink to keep others comfortable. He does not need to shout to be heard. His silence commands honor. Discipline creates credibility, because the man who is consistent earns the world's trust. His repetition trains others to believe him. He says what he means. He does what he says. He is stable, and stability is the crown of the chosen. Repetition creates inevitability, because the man who repeats the law of his purpose cannot be stopped. He may be delayed, but he cannot be denied, because permanence always outlasts resistance, and discipline makes a man permanent. Think of Andrew Carnegie. He wasn't born with wealth. He wasn't educated in privilege. He didn't inherit legacy, but he walked as if heaven had written his name on destiny's blueprint. He acted like a man already chosen, and that belief shaped everything. His words, his partnerships, his direction, and the world slowly, then suddenly obeyed him. This same law is yours now. You are not to ask permission to think like a man sent by God. You are already authorized. That fire in your gut, that unrest in your soul, that vision that won't let you sleep, these are not delusions. They are assignments. They are confirmations that you are not made to blend in, but to build, to lead, to become. So adopt this new rhythm. Each morning rise and declare aloud, I walk as one sent. I work as one assigned. I finish as one chosen. Move through your day with this awareness. When you sit at a table, sit like a man building the eternal. When you speak, speak only what aligns with your mission. Do not ask if you are allowed. Walk in as if sent, because you were. And when doubt whispers, silence it with law. I was sent. I am qualified. I do not retreat. Keep a journal of confirmations. Each day, write down one moment when your belief shaped the environment. One word, one act, one choice that proved your instruction. You are not here to fit in. You are here to be law in motion. And when you live like that, the world shifts. Your posture changes, your silence becomes a sermon, your presence becomes a climate. This is not charisma. The climate is the only promise. This is identity embodied. Say it again aloud. I walk as one sent. I work as one assigned. I finish as one chosen. These are no longer affirmations. They are decrees. They are blueprints. They are your daily law. You are not waiting to be seen. You are not hoping to be chosen. You have been sent. And when a man moves with divine command, the earth responds. Transformation is not a miracle. It is not a mystery. Say this again. Be present to be free, but not to be sued. The same is true for transformation. It is not a miracle. It is not a mystery. Say this again. Be present to be free, but not to be sued. This is a great sacred test, the same as it was designed to be. This test is not a miracle. It is not a mystery. It is not found in motivation or talent. It is the result of repeated obedience. Power is built, and building requires rhythm. Daily law repeated until it becomes blood, bone, and breath. Speak your chief aim each morning. Say it aloud as if all of heaven is listening. Because it is. I demand of myself the full and complete attainment of precipice by specific aim, by specific date, through focused thought, decisive action, and daily obedience. Then speak your identity aloud, not memory, but mission. I am the man who is sent. I build with order. I speak with purpose. I walk as one chosen. I finish what I begin. Then take one aligned action. Prove your identity not once, but daily. Don't wait for perfection. Take what you have and move now.